Good day, everyone. I would like first to introduce myself to you. I am Chantaling G. Camacho from 9 Excellence, and I will present to you what moral or philosophical approach is. But first, let us find out what moral means. Moral. It is concerned with the right behavior or the goodness of a human character. So, basing on its name, do you guys know what moral approach is? Moral approach is an approach that believes that the purpose of literature is to teach morality and probe philosophical issues. Those two are the two main purposes of literature. That's why they made moral approach. It also recognizes literature that it has an effect on readers, and the message of the work is very important. In all the literary approaches, moral approach has the longest history. In moral approach, you must remember that it is not just its way of saying, but also what it says. You know, the meaning of the word. And also, in moral approach, themes themes of works, moral approach play a very huge role in it. Because in themes, it is where you will find the meaning or the main idea in a text or concept. That's why moral approach plays a huge role in it. There are three proponents of moral approach. Those three are Aristotle, Plato, and Horace. Aristotle said that moral approach should be capable of fostering virtue, while Horace, on the other hand, said that literature should be delightful and instructive. Well, it is based on moral approach. Plato acknowledged literature as a teacher by capable of corrupting morals and undermining religions. Also, Plato emphasized morality and utilitarianism. So, Plato, Horace, and Aristotle are the three proponents of moral approach. In postmodern moral criticism, it asks how the work in question affects the readers, because in every question, in every text, the readers must have a feeling towards it. The reader must have some moral value that can feel on the text. That's why it is called neo-humanism. It is an African philosophy that evaluates morality. Neo-humanism, as we all know, it is very similar, especially to the subject AP. Neo-humanism has something to do with humans and what the behavior of humans does. Neo-humanism has something to do with morality and what's happening around us, having those moral values. By 1940s, particularly in World War II, neo-humanism died. That is when Christian humanism was born. Christian humanism, on the other hand, also seeks the same goals as neo-humanism, but it is using Christian beliefs and also teachings, and also it uses morality as its basis. So particularly, neo-humanism and Christian humanism are also moral criticism. So these are the 5 questions to consider when approaching a text with moral criticism. First, what specific lessons were presented in the text? You must know specifically what lessons were presented in the text, moral values. Second, how were these lessons portrayed or presented? You must emphasize the lessons presented in the work. Third, were the lessons presented in the text ethical or unethical? Are they right or are they wrong? Moral or immoral? Are they good manners, good moral values, or not? What effects do you think this text will have on its audience? Make sure when you're making a text, it has a good effects, especially moral values effects on audiences. They must have effect that they will follow and be a good example to our community or society. Last question. Does the work in question pose a pragmatic or moral lesson or philosophical idea? You must know when making a text, the question should have moral values, or let's say good manners or right conduct. It should have philosophical ideas, especially when making a text in moral criticism. Moral approach has become less popular and influential, and these are the three main reasons why. First reason, it could be due to the excess of the critics or other criticism. Second, the moral lackness of other criticism. And third, the deficiency of the approach itself. It is because some writers don't use moral approach. That's why moral approach has become less popular and influential to our society. These are other additionals when it comes to moral or philosophical criticism. As I said a while ago, moral approach has the longest history. The importance of literature, not just its way of saying, but also what it says. Critics who concentrate on the moral dimensions of literature often judge literary works and by their ethical teachings and by their effects on readers. Literature that is ethically sound and encourages virtue is praised, and literature that misguides and corrupts is condemned. You must know that moral approach is very important to the society, and Plato said that without moral approach, literature is a disgrace in humans. Some modern critical theories may make us resist the idea that literature has a didactic purpose. It means that literature was really meant to instruct us, but cannot deny many of the greatest writers have considered themselves teachers as well as artists, but they do not really consider moral approach to it. So that's my report. Thank you for listening. But now I will give you an activity. So in this activity, you must have a sheet of paper and number it from 1 to 10. I will just repeat the question twice, but before that, I will summarize up my report. Summarizing up, moral or philosophical approach, there are three proponents, Aristotle, Plato, and Horace. You must know what moral means and what are the two main purposes of moral or philosophical approach. Second, you must remember the three reasons why moral approach has become less popular. And last but not the least, you must remember the 5 questions when considering a text moral criticism. So I will give you question number 1. Question number 1. It is concerned with the principles of right behavior and goodness of human character. Again, I will repeat. It is concerned with the principles of right behavior and goodness of human character. So what do you think it is? Second question. It is for numbers 2 and 3. It is said a while ago that moral approach has two main purposes on literature. So for numbers 2 and 3, what are those two purposes in literature? I will repeat. It is said a while ago that moral approach has two purposes on literature. So for numbers 2 and 3, what are those two purposes in literature? Number 4. In postmodern criticism, it asks how or what does the effects on the reader. So question number 4, it is said that blank is an American philosophy that evaluates morality. What is that American philosophy that evaluates morality? I will repeat. In question number 4, it is an American philosophy that evaluates morality. What is that American philosophy that evaluates morality? Number 5. He acknowledged literature as a teacher. Who acknowledged literature as a teacher? In number 6, he said that literature is capable of fostering virtue. Who said that literature is capable of fostering virtue? There are only 3 proponents of moral approach. Remember that. For number 7 and 8, Plato emphasized what? There are two words that Plato emphasized, as I teach a while ago. These are blank and blank. What did Plato emphasize in moral approach? Number 9. Horace said that literature should be blank. Horace said that literature should be blank. The answer in number 9 is a phrase. So you must know what Horace said in literature. And the last question. Give me one reason why moral approach or philosophical approach has become less popular and influential. I will repeat. Last number, give me one reason why moral approach or philosophical approach has become less popular and influential. So that is all the questions. That is all the questions for today. Thank you for listening to my report, and I hope you understand something. Thank you.